Practical Economics class. Today, I want to share with you the two basic policies which are used in regulating the economy. I repeat, two basic policies which are used in regulating the economy. Regulating the economy means making the economy balance so that it can be of benefit for the people. And under this, the two agents of macroeconomics. There are two agents of macroeconomics, as I discussed in my previous class. There are two agents of macroeconomics that are very important in stabilizing the economy, in making the economy balance. These two agents are the governments and the central bank. These are the two macroeconomics agents that are very, very important in stabilizing and regulating the economy for the benefit of the citizens. The whole essence of government policies, the whole essence of policy is to come up with plans, strategies that will make the economy very, very okay and stable for the survival of what? People. Policies are made by governments and other agents in the economy in order to make sure that the economy is stable. Therefore, we have these two policies that are used in stabilizing the economy to make sure the economy is properly regulated. These two policies are the fiscal policies and the monetary policies. I repeat, the fiscal policies and what? Monetary policies. What do we mean by the fiscal policies? We are talking about the policies, the strategies, the actions that are taken by the government to regulate the economy. In a regulated economy, government always take action. Government always intervene so that the economy will not be what? Destabilized. So, in a regulated economy, government is an active player in making sure that everything goes the way it should go for the benefit of the people. So, one of the policies used by government in regulating the economy is what we call the fiscal policies. So, when we say what are fiscal policies? Fiscal policies are the policies used by the government to regulate the economy. And there are three fiscal policies used by the government to regulate the economy. Or we have three instruments, if I may call it in that way. There are three basic instruments of fiscal policies used by the government to regulate the economy. What are these instruments? We have tax. Government use tax to regulate the economy. Government tax individuals, government tax business firms in a way to stabilize the economy. When the economy is in serious recession, is in serious problem, government is going to make use of tax to what? Make sure the economy is what? Balanced. So tax is one of the important instruments used by the government under the fiscal policy to regulate the economy. The way the economy is, whether the economy is booming, is progressing, or whether the economy is in a very big problem, will determine the kind of tax policy the government is going to adopt. So another important instrument under the fiscal policy used by the government to regulate the economy is budget. What do we mean by budget? budget is a financial statement showing the revenue and expenditure of the what government. So budget is a financial statement showing the what revenue and what expenditure of the what government. The way the economy is will also determine the what the types of budget the government is going to pursue or use. We have budget can be surplus, majorly can be deficit. Majorly budget can either be surplus or what deficit. A surplus budget is that budget in which government revenue is more than the what expenditure. That means government earns more than it spends. Government earns more than it spends to the economy, and that usually happen when the economy is already what stable. The economy is what okay. Infrastructures are in place. Things are okay. Employment is full. Employment opportunities are there for people. People are gainfully employed. So the economic is in good shape. So government can make its revenue higher than how it spends to the economy. So that is surplus budget. A surplus budget is a budget in which government revenue is more than the government expenditure. And I told you, this usually happens when the economy is already what buoyant. There is full employment of people and resources. Infrastructures are in place. So government have to spend less than its what earns. So we have deficit budget. A deficit budget is that kind of budget in which government expenditure is more than government revenue. And that happens when the economy is in bad shape, when it is very, very necessary and important for government to spend more on the economy, to pump more money to the economy, because infrastructures are not in good shape. Infrastructures like roads, bridges, railways, they are in bad shape. Therefore, government must spend on all of these infrastructures to make sure the economy is in what good shape. When majority of people are not employed, when majority of the population are not employed, government have to spend to create what job opportunities for people. So in a deficit budget, government spend more to the economy than it earns, and it usually happen when the economy is not in good shape. So budget is an important instrument under the fiscal policy used by the government to regulate the economy and to make the economy balance. Expenditure too that's an integral aspect of budget. Government expenditure depends on the way the economy look like. So I said it's an integral aspect of budget. So expenditure need not to be overflowed here again. It's part of the budget. So these are the major fiscal policies used by the government, or we call them instrument of fiscal policies used by the government to regulate the economy. Then come back to monetary policies. When you say monetary policies, we are talking about the policies used by the central bank to regulate the financial activities of other banks. Can you get me right? Monetary policies are the policies used by the central bank to check the financial activities of other banks. The other banks I'm talking about here are central banks. Are commercial banks. Commercial banks are the other banks which the central bank need to regulate their financial activities. What are the instruments of monetary policies used by the central bank to regulate the economy? We have bank rates. Bank rate is the rate at which central bank give loans to commercial banks. As individuals go to commercial banks to borrow money, commercial banks also borrow money from the central bank. The central bank is the apex bank. It is the apex bank because it is the head of all the banks in the economy. So the rate at which central bank give loans to other banks in the economy is what we call bank rate. But when individuals go to commercial banks to borrow money, what we have, the rate you are going to pay is what we call interest rate. So interest rate is what? Additional money you have to pay for borrowing money from what? Commercial banks. But bank rate is the additional money you have to pay by commercial bank to what? Central bank. So bank rate is an important monetary policy used by central bank to regulate the what? Economy. If the central bank want to make commercial banks to borrow money very well, the bank rate will what? Reduced. Will what? Reduce. But if the what? Central bank want to prevent too much of borrowings by commercial banks, is going to increase the bank rate. So we also have cash reserve. Cash reserve means what? It is mandatory on every commercial banks to keep certain amount of money with the what? Central bank, in case they may need the money at any particular period of time. So cash reserve is the what? Special deposit, special amount of money which all commercial banks are mandated to keep with what? Central bank, in case of emergency and they may need to what? Settle some what? Debts or whatever you want to call it to their customers. So cash reserve is also an instrument of monetary policy used by central bank to regulate the economy. We also have others like liquidity ratio, which is a kind of emergency ratio. So emergency, which is also a kind of special deposit which commercial banks are meant to what? To deposit with what? Central bank, in case you want to meet up with what? Financial obligations of their what? Customers. Yes, it's similar to cash reserve. Then we also have open market operation. It's also part of the what? Monetary policy used by central bank to regulate the economy. Open market operation has to do with what? Buying and selling of treasury bills. Treasury bills is a kind of securities. It's a kind of security used by what? Central bank. If central bank buy security, which is also called the treasury bill, from the public, it means central bank want to pump money into the economy. But if central bank sell security or treasury bills to the commercial bank, it means you want to what? Want to reduce the amount of money in circulation. I repeat, open market operation has to do with buying and selling of a security known as treasury bills. Treasury bills is a special security used by central bank to regulate the economy. If the central bank wants to reduce the amount of money in circulation, it's going to sell treasury bills to what? Commercial banks, and in return it's going to what? Get cash from them. Then if central bank want to increase the amount of money in circulation, it's going to buy treasury bills from what? Commercial banks, and in that process more money will be pumped into the what? Circulation. So all of this we have to understand them. I repeat, or in summary, there are two basic policies used in regulating the economy. We have fiscal policies and we have what? Monetary policies. The fiscal policies are the policies or the strategies or actions taken by the government to regulate the economy, and such policy include tax. The instrument of fiscal policies include tax, budget, and expenditure, while the monetary policies are the policies used by the central bank to check the financial activities of other commercial banks. And such instruments include the use of bank rates, cash reserve, liquidity ratio, and open market operation. As usual, if you want to contact me, if you want to engage me privately, you can reach me through this number 08061621399, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube page, Taiwo Mujideen. Thank you. Have a lovely